What's up, everybody? Well, welcome back to another episode of Full Credit to the Boys. Bro, I was like half cut doing that one, but yeah, guys, another episode. Obviously, the Chookies get it done against our Warriors here, 38-18, where I felt like the boys, they got back into some sort of like contest, sort of mid to late in that game, but that first 13 minutes was you could already feel like defensively that was just well off the pace. But you know what, guys? I found a little bit of positivities in this performance here overall. We'll bounce with the chat after I give you my little summary of what really happened in this game here. And then, we'll go through, Levon will come on a little bit later on and all that. And we'll go through really, our combined thoughts and see where we can round out some, positivity, what really happened in this game. But, yeah, that first 15 minutes was even at even about that 20-minute mark where, that was very, very low level. I'm really happy to see the boys, kind of get back into it. And even though we started to turn the clogs over, it felt like if we held him out for that last try or whatever at the end of the game, we ended up winning that second half if we held him out there. But obviously, the Roosters just too good, just the way they are. And injuries, we'll touch on injuries and all that later on. But shout out to all the regulars in the chat. I know it's so hard to continue to keep turning up, especially when the boys are losing currently right now. But I love that we can have a constructive chat and also, go through our thoughts about the Warriors at the moment. And you know what? At the moment, honestly, I think that there is positives. We can grow. I still think there's still a ton of a season left. I'm still holding on to the fact of that. We definitely saw some good things in this game, but we saw some very, very poor, I'm going to say junior level sort of stuff very early on. So we'll touch on those very early. So shout out to the chat. McGruff, Foldy, Daniel, Neil, Mohammed, Tani, what's going on? Cloth Stuff, Up the Wires, what's happening? Tahi, bro, what's going on? Benji, Mohammed, I'll get to your chats very shortly, guys. I'll see you guys, what do you think the problem is? What's going on? What's happening with our side? But honestly, first of all, I want to give full credit to the Chookies and how they went about their business in this game. Coming off the 40-point win, 40-12 win over the Broncos last week, they have not dipped out of their form. They got a full-strength squad now, and they really attacked us very early on. You know what? When I first started to get, the boys were walking out, I thought the boys, I was very excited for this contest. I was like, yeah, you know what? I think the boys are backs against the wall. Things are going to happen, hopefully. Then, coming into it with Sheck going down with injury and stuff like that, obviously, I was like, yeah, but everyone's been calling for changes, and it was forced change. It had to happen, but hearing that Monty probably was sent on a plane before all this, had some rumors going around maybe RTS was getting run around as a wing. So for all the people that like RTS as a wing, we might get to see that when he comes back off injury. But then again, we'll soon see how that sort of plays out there. But definitely forced changes happen in this squad here. I didn't think that Webby picked a bad squad at all. I know a lot of people complaining about Webby saying that, they put Gossi and Pompey together. He didn't have a choice. Injuries really hampered him from doing that. As I kind of touched on just then, it did feel like that maybe when we're coming through training this week, that RTS was going to be the winger. And then, they're probably going to bring Pompey in. That's just rumor. It's mainly because of apparently Montoya was seen on a plane pretty early on before the actual training against the Bears and stuff. So after last week's game. So I'm not not too sure there. But anyway, shout out to the Roosters. They struck us really hard on that edge. They really found a weakness. Pompey really needed to shut down a lot of time and space from Joey Manu. I think that's a lot easier said than done because Joey Manu does this to some of the best centers in the competition as well. And Gossi needed to probably learn a little bit more of like, just sit there, wait for a little bit. I think all our wingers kind of have struggles with that at the moment, but I also do think that the system kind of plays that way a little bit too, that our wingers like to cut down space and time and that, but I think we just got caught in two minds, a new combination there, and it just really didn't work our way, and the Roosters really attacked it. I felt like the big, change of the guard, we lost that first point there. I think this is when Shawnee's kick got charged down, and that's where it started, the roll on started to happen, and the Roosters, bang, Angus Crichton went over, Dominic Young get a double, and then Angus Crichton for a third with a little grubber in behind. That grubber in behind, I can allow that sort of stuff to happen, but the first earlier on tries in this game is where our defense really fell completely off the point. There was a moment in that game really early on that Dominic Young through the middle really broke through, and the momentum they just got off the back of that was just incredible. But again, now I want to bring it back to the boys as well. I feel like, after that was done, all the energy of Jared's 300th game, Mother's Day, they all walked out with their mothers and, their misses and stuff like that. You saw the boys up in energy. They had a smile on their face with the Roosters there. And then the boys sort of sat into the game a little bit more. The defense started to really hold up just a little bit more. Wasn't incredible, but it's definitely, found some moments there. The Roosters the momentum started to dip, and we found a little bit of momentum in the middle of this game here. Ended up cracking after halftime. But then you go, Shawnee went down with a freaking injury, and that's where I was like, man, do we get a break? Like, I felt like I've touched on this. If you want to hear receipts on this too, guys, go check out on our earlier streams and our view set on the Warriors back then. And everything was so positive. I did that really recently as well. But I had a thought in that Raiders game. It's like, we are the unluckiest team in the competition. I really still feel that. I always feel that. I don't know if that's just being a Warriors fan. But just losing. Oh man, like all this talent we're losing. I know injuries, we can't make excuses on it, and 100%. But it's just like, we can't get through a full game of footy without losing a player out there. And I'm even trying to think of the top of the Knights game. Obviously RTS did his injury in training. I don't think we had an injury during that Knights game, which probably is our first game of the season. So, but that took nothing away here. I felt like, when they ran out, full strength on full strength, the Roosters tore us apart. As soon as the game fell into a little bit of a lull, the boys started to find their own. And then, we cracked our first try there with Edward Gossi. First sort of look at that left side attack really getting unlocked a little bit more, but that really came down to Shawnee. It wasn't really on Tamaite, in my opinion. I thought Tamaite had an opportunity here to really, take over the game, especially when Shawnee came off later on in the game. But it felt like Dylan Walker really stepped up in that position there too. But also, I want to give credit to Tamaite as well. I felt like there was a couple of kicks he put in behind that looked pretty damaging as well. But, we could go either way. I'm so sorry, guys. I see you guys in the chat. You are absolutely incredible. I will get to you very, very shortly. I'm sorry. I just want to give you my sort of thoughts, and I'll bounce off you guys in the chat. But there's a couple of good thoughts here. Yeah, like, Chucky's full of Origin stars that are just all incredible form right now. Still, I would have loved to see us really go up against them very early on and really take it to them. But I felt like if you take this game as an 80-minute performance with everything that kind of didn't go our way, I think second half we got a little bit of rub of the green with the penalties, which is good to see. Even though majoritively I was kind of up and down with I thought the referee wasn't too bad, but there was moments obviously. But it is what it is. As collectively here, if you take away that first 15, guys, this was okay, we can build off this a little bit. That first 15 really put a sour mark on this whole game here. And I feel like everyone will be looking at it. It's good to see the boys, come back and hold together and really, fight to every inch. Adam Fanor-Blake's a big key to that. Mitch Barnett, I thought he was one of our better players throughout this whole game here. I thought he was incredible. Even running on an edge back roll. I still would have loved to see him in the middle a bit more. I think maybe coming into next week, maybe if I'm looking at any changes, guys, and I don't want to say too many changes because we're forced to a lot of changes now, but I would probably like to see Laban maybe get a bit more of a start there now and push Mitch back in the middle. try and help out, because I think there's still news obviously of what's going on. I know Dylan Walker finished out the game, but he had that moment too later on in the game where he tried to put a kick in, and they end up putting their foot out, and I thought that was going to be a penalty, but it is what it is. He ended up getting it back in the line, finishing out the game, but he got battered around a couple of times in that game. But so full credit to the Chookies in this one. I thought they were absolutely incredible. Obviously they still have a lot of things to work on, 78% completion rate, but to start off the game, they were pretty much 99%. They didn't make any errors. They just flooded our try line. We couldn't stop them. But we'll go through the stats a little bit later on too, guys, because we actually wrestled back possession, which is a crazy stat here. We actually wrestled back missed tackles too. Even we conceded 40 missed tackles. They conceded 40 missed tackles, which is more so between that second half. That second half, we really came home fairly well. But even then, I felt like the Roosters kind of had us, all game. And it was just, they were just kind of, I don't know if you want to say took the foot off the gas pedal a little bit, but, yeah, it is what it is. I can't even say that we had the last try wins, but it is what it is. Richard, yo, hi Ash, holy moly, a few ups for the boys. Yeah. We'll touch on, hold up, we'll move on. We'll touch on our injuries first of all now too, guys. We'll move on to something I want to get all the negatives kind of out of the way before we go through my little positives overall. So, yeah, no, it's really is injuries, man. Injuries. As soon as Shawnee got hampered by that pec too, I was just like, oh, can we just catch a break, please? Coming into this game, losing Roger was obviously a big one too. But I thought the boys would stand solid there too. But frick, man, we had moments there where Dylan Walker went down with injury. We had, just Dallin went down with injury at a couple of moments there. And bro, at the moment, we just can't catch a break with all these things. We got to stick solid. Obviously, we got a big matchup next weekend with the Panthers and that, but it's still and the Panthers are dealing with injury as well too, guys. So it's not an excuse there, but just would love to see. We haven't had our full strength squad out this whole season. We haven't seen any of that this whole season. I've still been barking on about it. We've had, started the season, we didn't have our fullback. We didn't have, Egan was out for a couple of games there too. We had freaking Metcalf go down. Tamade comes in. Chanel comes in. We haven't had a full season, full team on that pitch. And even every game, we just drop a troop every game. And it just seems to happen every game. Even when we had Tuapiki, he went off a couple of times during the middle of the games. And we just can't deal with this. We can't build combinations. We can't continue to, really work on our game. All our troops just continue going down mid-game. We've got to change the game plan and really work around things. But yeah, just really, really hampered there. I really, really felt that. And lastly, before I go to the chat, guys, I really did feel the positives in the game, if you want to take any positives out of it, and I'll bounce the dudes in the chat. For me, I thought Jazzy was really, really good. When Jazzy came on, I thought the energy lifted. I thought even when Walker came on, the energy lifted a little bit there. I felt like it's still kind of looking like I love Tohu to death, and he works so hard for us, and he had a couple of nice moments later on in the game, but very early in the game, he looks out on his feet a lot of the time, and, he just gets through his work, but sometimes that could be to our detriment, especially when we want to play a faster brand of footy too, with that, direct running and all that sort of stuff, and sometimes it just doesn't really work that way. I felt like when Dylan Walker and all that came on, really changed the contest. I feel for Freddie Lussick as well. Freddie going down with injury. Yeah, sorry guys, I just seen this pop up. Yeah, Egan going down as well with the head knock. But man, overall, I think the positives for me was mainly we did have a moment there before that halftime where it felt like we're finding something. There was a couple of errors in the Roosters. We end up finding a little bit. I felt like our attack probably looked good in moments as well, is what a lot of people were worried about, and that just defensively was so far off the pace. And then going into that second half, I felt like, obviously we went down early with Tupou going over, and then, Shawnee sets up Ed Gossi, and then Chance gone over, and Ads went over. So we started to find that little bit of momentum in between there, but then, James Tedesco went over in between, and then finish off the game, Sammy Walker. But as I'm trying to say, guys, there was a little bit of positives with our bench rotation here. When Jazzy came on, I felt like there was a little bit more punch, especially defensively. He was chopping blokes left, right, and center. I thought he was really, really good there. I thought that Dylan Walker, again, foot speed through the middle. I thought Tom Arle had a couple of really nice moments as well when he came on. I thought that there was a moment there he was trying to take it to Jared Warrior-Hargroves in his 300 game and all that. And that's a big positive to see these boys trying to go at each other there. But overall, I thought Mitch Barnett was incredible for as much as he could be, especially being on that left side, getting ripped apart and that. I thought that he was trying to set the tone as much there. If you actually look at a lot of our tries that we end up conceded from long field position, he was actually one of the first two back there. So that just shows him in a nutshell. He's going to work hard no matter what. I thought Adam was just, again, like, he's so professional. Like, he just gets through his freaking work, even though he's leaving us. Like, it's good to see him get through his work there. But yeah, honestly, guys, that's pretty much all I could take out of it. I felt like maybe our left side attack opened up a tiny bit here. I felt like we used our edge back rolls a little bit more. I thought Jackson Ford had a decent game too. But again, just to fall back on, like, I don't want to keep going back on negatives, but, we had a ton of injuries. That first 15 minutes was not up to scratch. And really, I felt like that if we weren't trying to eliminate anything, maybe the Roosters could have put 50 on us. But I guess the biggest positive also we could take, guys, is they didn't put 50 on us, which is a really, really good stat too. So over to you guys. Anyway, in the chat, I feel like I'm kind of going around in circles right now. It's really, really tough, obviously, because it's a couple of losses. I could give you my full thoughts overall of maybe the things we could change, what we could help, all that sort of stuff. But honestly, I think that we just need to get back to as a unit, worked really, really hard in games and just limit, just defense, guys. This is what I've been harping on for all this time. Defense. Killer, my man. Thank you so much. $20 super chat. Appreciate you, my man. Season's a heartbreak at the moment, but honestly, today was a fair crack with how depleted we were against a stacked Chook side. Regardless, I can see a late season bloom coming. I'm hanging on to that too, Killer, my man. I'm not too far away from that either. Obviously, this was really disappointing. Like early on in the game, I won't say I was kind of like, this is not anywhere close to what we need to be in that. But to be fair, with the team we ran out there with, with the team that the Roosters ran out there with, that first 15 was a disgrace, honestly. But everything else that happened in that game, I thought the boys held in pretty solid later on in that game. And as I said, without that first 15, we actually held it to a 50-50 contest there, which is, if you guys want to take that as a positive, you do. But thank you so much for the super chat, my man. I really do appreciate you. T. Miller. It's amazing how we have so many mental lapses in the first 20, then all of a sudden they then fade. Honestly, bro, this is a total flip of what happened to start the season where we, look incredible out of the blocks and then we fall away in the first 20. I just feel like, there's a lot of moments in this game where maybe the boys are really focusing really hard to do something and to not let go of something else, and they're letting go of that other area too, I felt like, maybe Webby's touching on, listen, and I touched on it. If you want to check out the interview with Webby too, guys, go check that out. But Webby's really good at saying this is stuff we want to keep, but this is stuff we need to improve on. But I feel like the boys maybe are focusing really on early on in the game, we start off like gangbusters, like the Titans game. We went out 12-0, looked incredible, and then we fell away. Maybe the boys are focusing on that too much, but again, it is very frustrating to watch, and I completely understand. It is very frustrating. Tanya, in all honesty, I expected the scoreline to blow out more than that. After the first 15, I was completely on the same boat. I thought this was going to be a 50-60. I didn't really see a point where we were going to crack them either. I felt like our attack is still a little bit, we're still having moments where it's just not working. And I thought that we weren't going to be able to cross over. But it was good to see the boys show some energy. And there was a little bit of a turn where my thoughts started to be like, okay, I've actually text with one of my boys and stuff. And I was like, before halftime, I was like, you know what? Not say this reminds me a little bit of the Sharkies game last year, but it was more so the fact of if we get one try in, maybe the momentum could change, but that slowly withered away after, Tupou going over. So Jacko here, true after the first 20 minutes, Tans. Yeah, 100%. Coco Jumbo, Gossi is trash. No, Gossi is not trash. He's just not in incredible form, and I feel for him too, because he's trying to jump in, and a lot of people are going to be like, he's the one that changed and he's going to be the problem. He wasn't the problem. Overall, we just depleted with injury, and we're not able to really work with that on that side. Joey Manu was an absolute freak out there, and I felt like it was a collective of like Gossi and Pompey didn't really help each other too much there, but I felt like they slowly got back into the game here. But yeah, like he didn't have his best game, but let's not bash him. He's got to go back to cup and learn. Like that's the biggest thing, guys. Is all these losses are lessons. You know what I mean? Tanya, appreciate this. Mitch was good. Barry made some great tackles. Yeah, I didn't touch on Barry. Barry had some actually decent moments as well. But we did have some good moments there. Wasn't many, but at least we saw changes in our technique. It didn't work at least, but we did change it up 100%. And like, I was going to touch on more of, I saw all the comments on like Instagram and all that, and everyone complaining that we don't change. We don't, we've been forced how many lineup changes to start the year. Like, this is my whole thing. It's like we haven't had a full collective group out there that have been there consistently to start this year. So we need to really grow. And that's the biggest thing. We need to come together as a group. Team McKay, injuries and lack of confidence hurting our team. Goal now is to limp into the bye round and regroup for the late rounds. Yeah, I'm still excited to see if the boys can pull something, out with the Penrith or the Finns game before the bye. But, at the moment it is looking a little bit further away. Ash, please forgive my comment. It was not meant to be harsh. The Roosters touched us up last week. I didn't really get to see your comment. I'm really, really sorry, my bro. But feel free to re-comment it if you want to, so I can really break it down. But yeah. T Miller felt like SJ was hard doing E with the obstruction call. Oh, hard done by there. Yeah, those just don't go away a lot of the time, guys. Like that's just the obstruction rule these days. Jacka here. Gossi is too big and slow at wing. Modern game needs to improve. Back row. Yeah, I've heard a lot of the back row calls. Maybe that's something the way to go with their Gossi. But he just needs to learn the game a little bit more. He's still really young. Tony W, thank you so much, my man. $10 super chat. Are we going to get a break? Not for a little bit, my man. Not for a little bit. But this is what pressure makes diamonds, guys. And again, I know a lot of people are saying we're going back to the old Warriors and that. I still don't think we're back to the old Warriors. I still think the group collective, what we got now, and the systems what we have now are still amazing and they still will work. I just think that we need to get back into the training paddock and really work and get some boys back and to really finish off the year really, really strong. The top four is definitely withering away right now, but coming off of last year, if you're any positive, I'm pretty sure we finished the year with 8 losses in that. We're a couple of losses away from that now, but the boys have a really good run to end the year. So, and the competition is still incredibly tight this year. So what do we end the year 2023? We ended the season 16 wins, 8 losses. So, at the moment, three wins, 1 draw, 6 losses. We're a couple of away from that. But again, yeah, top 4 is looking a little bit further out of our grasp at the moment. But we still have an opportunity to get top 8. It's still very congested through there, and we have a really good run home. If the boys get together and hold together, we should be able to make things happen. I still believe in the squad that we have here. 40. So we spent all week concentrating going left, then RTS got scratched, but we were committed to that game plan. Honestly, I don't think we were fully collected to go left all the time. I felt like there was a little bit more balance. What Shawnee's try came from a right side shift there that really opened up. And honestly, guys, if you really want to take it, the Roosters defense has been really solid the last couple of weeks now. And I felt like we had some really good moments there. I felt there was a moment too later on in the game where we broke some space where Dal possibly could have ran into that corner. I think Radley was covering there, or Angus Crichton. They cut back in. I think that was when he ended up getting he ended up laying down for a penalty, didn't he, or something like that. I can't remember what penalty was now, but that moment there, I felt like we created space in moments. So overall, I thought the attack did look positive in moments when we actually got a handle of the ball. So, that's my little positive I'm taking out of it. Panta, no way, man. Can we stop with all these crazy comments about Webby and all that? Understand he's his first year head coach, did incredible to get us to where we are. We've still seen sparks of that early on this season. If you want to go check the actual view around the squad from round 1, 2, 3, all the way up to maybe the Manly game is where everything and I still took Manly as a little bit of a positive, but man, when we go into the, the last 3 or 4 weeks, that's kind of been where we've completely fallen off. The start of the season, we were really, really in good form, in my opinion. And let's feel free, guys, go back and check our older sort of live streams and see where everyone was viewing. I feel like we're so reactionary at the moment, but no way, Webby out. Like, no way Webby's lost the boys. There's no way. Everyone knows that we're, as a group, we're going to grow and continue to come together. Chancey actually said it after the game. I saw a little comment on that. I haven't seen the presser yet, so I think you're seeing here. Punter, just watched Webby's press conference and he seemed lacked answers. Too much, a lot of questions thrown at him. Man is definitely under pressure. Honestly, guys, like, if we're going to throw out a head coach after a second year that he ended up getting us to top 4 for the first time in how long, like, what type of organization are we when we've been in the best spot that we've ever been in, where we've actually bought a system that is going all the way down to our junior grades? We've won with that exact same system in Harold Matts. And that is a first grade system that's filtering down, guys. Every club has a system that comes from the top. That's the way it works. If we're going to chuck out a coach because of this, like, come on, guys. That's hectic. That's hectic. There's no way. There's no way. Tell you, bro, at least we started to open left side options, so it's starting. Yeah, you can take that positive 100%. I thought that definitely opened up because of a bit more direct running that we had with Mitch Barnett and stuff, but yeah. Sorry, guys, if I felt like that was a little bit too crazy on, like, you know, Webby and up, but, like, guys, we can't be so reactionary. Like, there's still been moments winning this year that we've looked incredible. We just haven't put it together through full 80-minute performances. And honestly, the injuries have hampered us. Like, we haven't had our full strength squad at all this year. At all. If you can give me one game that we had a full strength squad, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Ashbro, Ben, any idiot wanting Webby gone? Yeah, well, you know, if any idiot wants Webby gone, like, yeah, please feel free to just jump off the bandwagon completely. Because you got to understand that sometimes things like this happen, and it happens in the season. It happens with multiple teams. I know we're not the Panthers. I know we're not the Melbourne Storm that are incredible all the time, but there's only one way we grow to that, and that's consistency, and that's having a group together that's willing to learn and grow from this. That's my only thing on that. That's so crazy to think about. Coco Jumbo, definitely not throw him out, but he's definitely under pressure. I'd say there's pressure, but I wouldn't say, you know, throw him out. It's just crazy. 100%. Dion Smith, I thought we actually looked better than last week from that second half. Yeah, there's a positive there, my man. As I said, if we take away that first 15 minutes, it was like an 18-all draw or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure Sammy Walker converted that. No, I think we ended up winning that little period because Sammy Walker missed a conversion in there. So, you know, that's a little like positive we want to take it. But again, like that first 15 was well off. 40, stop ignoring the elephant in the room and tell us how terrible Badger's refereeing was. Honestly, man, like, I didn't think it was horrendous. I thought there was a couple of pretty bad calls there. Like, you know, the chicken wing, I would have thought should have get called or adjudicated on for sure. I thought that the moment where Dylan Walker tried to get a crossfield kick and it didn't go for it enough, he ended up laying on the ground. I thought the game should have stopped in that point too, especially when the ruck got so close to him there and he was holding his ankle. And then you saw the replay of them kicking out the foot. I thought the trip from Angus Crichton probably could have got adjudicated on more, but we've seen it from this weekend that it's not getting sin bin. So if that's consistent, then that's consistent. Unfortunately, it makes no sense. But like throughout the whole rugby league at the moment, yeah, refereeing's been horrendous. And it's not just against the Warriors at the moment. And we can't be a team that falls into that, guys. And every time we lose, like, we can't be that. Yeah, Jacko. Actually, this was Badger's best. Like, you know, even though she had some shockers, 100%. 100%. Yeah, chicken wings. Tony T, I'd like to see a couple more change. Oh, mostly, man. Just give some guys more experience. I think Tom Arle has learned a starting spot. He looks good. Honestly, guys, I don't think we need a lot of changes right now. I think we've been hampered with that many changes already, honestly, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong there, guys, but, you know, we wanted changes before that left side, and, you know, we had it due to injury. We got forced into it, and it did, like, I don't know. I don't want to hamper on it too, because it's not the reason why we lost the game either, but like, the more changes, guys, the more that we're going to fall into this exact same thing. Like, how, like, envision this too. Like, how's a football team, if you're on a football side, like, if you've played junior footy going up, right? And if you have a different edge back rower every week, if a halfback, how are you going to build a combination there when every edge back rower plays it differently? And now move it all the way to like, you got a different halfback every week. You got a different fullback every week. You got a different 6 every week. You got a different 9 every week. Like, sometimes we just need to get people together and just learn and just grow. Like, the system's proven to work. You just need to get boys on the pitch and actually playing out a full minutes. Like, my big positive, why I said there was a positive, Jazzy was back in this lineup and Jazzy showed something. He was incredible. Dylan Walker came back in that. He's actually shown a little bit of spark too. Like, we just need to get boys back on the park and get a full-strength squad out there. We haven't had one this year. If anyone in the chat can tell me one game that we had a full-strength squad or even close to it, because I know the one game we actually did, please put it out there and tell me how that result went. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. We just need to relax. Like, I know it's a really hard time. We're 0-4 and the last 3 games against really tough opposition, like not good opposition. You know what I mean? But like, allow these boys to grow and to fix it themselves. Like, that's the only way we're going to do it. And obviously, overall, we probably lost Shawnee now. So like, there's another change you want to throw in there. We don't have any backup half right now. Not in our top 30 at all, unless we're going to run Dylan Walker and Tamade Martin again. And if we're going to have to get behind those boys. Up the wires 95. I think Tohu might be good for 50-minute a week now. Yeah. Well, that's a big positive too of having Jazzy, Dylan Walker, and all that back. We can actually look into those options now, which is a good thing. Which is a very good thing. Jackie here, great bit of positivity. Beginning to love Barnett. I adore Barnett. Ever since last year, I've always seen the positive in Barnett. He's absolutely incredible. He's incredible. Cloth stuff. We didn't have a full strength lineup round 1. Chance was out. And even like, so I'll go back to this too. The closest I think we've been to a full strength squad, it could be a little bit wrong there. Maybe it could have been the Sharks game and that, but was actually that Rabbitohs game. And guess we still had a ton of people out in that game. I actually messaged to one of my boys that we looked at, multiple, like, we went through our start to the season and stuff. Like, we haven't had a full strength squad throughout this whole year. The closest we did have to it, in my opinion, was either that Rabbitohs game or was very early on the season that we end up putting 30 on the side. So I know the Rabbits haven't been great, but guys, just wait and relax. Dario, first half 20-0 Roosters, second half 18-16 Warriors, yeah, that's a little bit of positive you can take there, bro. I felt like there was still moments in the second half we definitely need to clean up and all that if we want to be a great side, but we've got to start finding little positives here and not keep looking at negatives and not say that we need to switch everyone out because of one game. Like, I know it's been a collective of games, but yeah. Yeah, Clough stuff. Sorry, my bro. Yeah, CNK was out to start the year. Yeah, it just is what it is. And obviously Tanya, 100 Ash, leave Libby alone, please. 100%. He's definitely our coach. I still believe in him. I've always believed in him. And just the way he talks, the system he's come from, the system he's put into place. And it's not just the first grade squad that's not really performing as well at the moment. But if you look at everything else that we have going on at the club, a lot of that has come down from Webby, Cappy, and all those boys coming together as a collective. So just continue just to allow this to grow. Like, sometimes things like this to happen very early on. Cleary people wanted Cleary out of the Panthers before, he started getting things to click over there. So just let it happen. Jackie here, lots just don't get how SJ really is. But when he is out, we find out. Remember years ago, break leg. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we do, like, SJ is going to be a big loss. I do believe that. It doesn't look great for SJ. Initial diagnosis is pec strain. Might be out for a month of scans to confirm. Yeah, that sucks to hear, man. That sucks to hear. Cloth stuff, and that comes down to our strength and conditioning program. People call me crazy, but it's undeniable. Again, like, I feel like last year, our strength and conditioning program ended up working to our benefit. Like, unless the boys have come out and said they had a harder preseason this year, I'm not too sure. But yeah, again, like, a lot of this comes down to two guys. If we get a bigger sample size throughout the whole season and look at season to season, then we start looking at things. Unfortunately, that takes time as well. What happened to our wrestling sessions where Kai been at? I'm not too sure. I haven't been around the training. I don't know how many wrestling sessions they do and all that, but I'm sure they still do it, guys. I'm sure they still do it. 40. Can you go knock on the bathroom door and check if Levon's all right? Hopefully he's all right. I haven't seen a message from him yet and all that, but he'll be in very shortly, guys. I'm sure of it. Dion Smith, that was the Roosters had a full strength squad. It has showed a class of, but yeah, I wouldn't say that they had a full strength squad. They still didn't have Brendan Smith in this lineup, but it had pretty fairly close to what their full strength squad is. And they were incredible. They're definitely still informed. They're one of the most informed teams in the competition right now. Especially when you look at the rest of the competition, I would say that they are probably them and even the Sharkies, stepping up against the Melbourne Storm on the weekend. But, the Roosters are looking very, very good. If they continue to play like this, is the thing with the Roosters, they could end up doing some special things. It's just the thing with the Roosters, their seasons always go like this. They usually start slow and they end up finishing hard. This season, they seem to be putting it together very early on. So that's a very good sign for them to see where they really come through towards the end of the season. And also to finish off your second question there, also could Tane play 6? We need some speed. My honest opinion on Tane playing 6 is I don't want to see it. If you want to see that left side defense really fall away completely, especially because he's a smaller body and really doesn't defend too well on the line, in my opinion, you could put Tane in 6. What he does in attack is great and he's incredible on that. But even then, he's not a 6, he's a fullback. He played 6 very well at that Kiwis A squad and he looked good there and all that. But defensively, against some top-fledged competition, I would have just seen this week what Nat Butcher was played on that right side. If we had Tane Tuapiki on that side, he would have been peppered all game. And it may not have been Dominic Young or Angus Crichton for a couple and all that. It would have been Nat Butcher, in my honest opinion. So that's really my thoughts overall. And we can't just throw in a new fullback in that 6 and just expect this to really work. We've got to trust in the group that we have as well, that are having that depth chart at the moment. Brown Mama, the game plan is for the 17th that are the most injured. I don't really know where you're going with that one, my man. What else we got there? Dylan can play 6, 100%. And I feel like that's probably where we're going to end up going coming into next week, unfortunately. Jacko, Tane would fail in halves. We tried Reece Walsh there and Manly cooked them. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Unfortunately, he's a smaller body, a bit more like a Jaden Campbell. And if you watch the Titans try to use Jaden Campbell at 6, it's pretty much very similar things going to end up happening, unfortunately. Guys, just going to understand too, there's no creative fix that's going to fix anything here. I think a lot of it has to come down to the boys just coming together and, playing out a full-fledged performance here. As I said, I felt like our attack opened up in a lot of moments here because we played so direct, especially later on in the game. Defensively, we were completely well off the park, especially early on in this game. As soon as Roosters keyed in, that left side was hampered with, obviously a new combination there. They were just going to tear that apart. And Joey Manu and Dominic Young going to be on our side, guys, let's be honest. They beat the Broncos about 40. They put 40 points on the Broncos, you know what I mean? We had a new defensive edge on that left side. We needed to be better, but it is what it is. Good to see you, Nanad. Yeah, unlucky. Yeah, not unlucky, bro. We definitely just got played off the park. El Matador, it will be Tamati Martin and Walker at 6. Yeah, that's the way I see it going. Unless Chanel has a little bit of an earlier come in, especially going off, looking at all our other casualty wards. Seems like the boys are coming off a little bit earlier from injuries and that, which is obviously good with the training schedules and stuff. Our rehab's working really well. So maybe Chanel, who knows? Chanel might be able to get past his calf injury to come into the lineup, and we see Tamati Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita. But even then, it's going to be a struggle without SJ. But then again, the way the system should work, Tamade should be able to fill in that role, and really, whoever's going to play that 7 role should be able to pull the strings. And our game plan is out there to show when it works. When we play direct football, that's how we play football. We need to get back to that. And I felt like we did that fairly well in attack today. Just defensively, we were well off the pace. Tanya, Jazz was mean, 100%. I thought Jazzy was incredible today. Incredible, that's a pretty big word, but I thought he was really, really good off the bench, and he showed spark, and he showed something that, we've missed, and that's a big, big positive that I'm taking out of this game here. Brown Mamba, is there a chance for Gossi and Zion to get game time while the team is so depleted? Gossi, depending on what our first option is there, I probably would say that Monty might get the call up again. I'm not too sure. I didn't get to see the New South Wales Cup game, but I kept an eye on it, the scoreboard and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, it doesn't update too well and all that, but I'm pretty sure what Montoya scored a try in that last game too. And, I've not said that. I've never thought that Montoya was our problem before this, but I definitely think that, if there was an area we could improve, maybe it's Montoya, but I don't think he was ever the problem to us, and I felt like it kind of was seen today as well a little bit. But maybe there was a bit more argument, and there's a lot of people that have actually said it. Like apparently RTS was like, this is a rumor, guys. RTS was actually getting played at that wing position in the training sessions and stuff like that. That's when he ended up pulling his hemi. Maybe Webby was looking at maybe moving RTS to the wing, and maybe we would have seen if that worked or not. And that's one thing, maybe if we did want to improve on that side. But again, like if we're going to do that, yeah, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I would love to see just a similar squad, just working on the things we work on and get energy back in our team. That's my biggest thing. Core stuff, we struggled to contain the ruck speed. We definitely struggled to side defense to look at jagged line. Yeah, I felt like the ruck speed, a lot of it comes down. Yeah, the Roosters just have guys that can end up busting tackles and really getting over the top and really speeding up the ruck. I felt like we had moments doing very similar things too, guys. Yeah, I just felt like we just clocked off a couple of moments there, and probably the systems fell apart a little bit, especially on that left side, in my opinion. Jacko here, we have no option with so many injuries, confidence down. Just play basic footy, run hard, tackle hard. That's exactly it, Jacko. And honestly, that's all some of the best teams do, and they do it to the top standard, and that's how they win games in the competition. You look at the Knights, they lost their best player in Kalen Ponga, and they went back to the basics, and they've ended up getting 3 wins on a trot. And it hasn't been incredible to watch, but that's how you win games of football sometimes. And like, I know everyone wants us to be attacking powerhouse and all that, but like defense wins games, guys. And if we can't hold a team out, like we're not going to win more games than not. That's just the way it is. And I feel like I kind of harp on it a little bit more these days. Jack here, for me, Montoya is a better option than Kossi, but RTS at a wing would be a best option. Yeah, Jacko, I felt like maybe your comments to start the season were probably more valid now after, Webby was going to trial it out. So we'll have to see how that goes coming into it. But, obviously, our centre option now is Bompe Ali Leotar. I know you've always said Ali Leotar. Maybe it's an option that we do see later on if Webby is not going with RTS at centre anymore. I thought RTS at centre wasn't too bad. I thought defensively he's been incredible. He's explosive there. Obviously, I felt like the only problem with RTS at centre was he never got the ball in really good positions. And as we saw today, a lot of it did come down to communication. And when that left side looked really, really good was when we were using our edge back rower and Shawnee swaying on that side. Shawnee ended up putting Gossi over in the corner. If Shawnee was doing maybe that a little bit more with RTS and playing him back through the ruck, we could have seen different things. But again, that's just my thoughts overall. But you might be 100% right, bro. Up the wires, you can see the frustration out on our leaders' face, like AFB, even Barnett, 100%, man. Yeah, you can see the frustration. I feel like it's because all the boys understand their level that they can get to this year. I feel like it's been noted that many times that the group knows that they're at a higher level than what a lot of competition they have out there at the moment. It's just we're not doing that, and I think that's the biggest frustration to the squad. I feel like, energy has definitely been a problem for the last couple of weeks, especially, as soon as we've been on a downtrend. But as soon as we get back to what we were doing, against the Raiders, the Knights, even the Rabbits, even the Manly game in moments and all that sort of stuff, when we're playing direct football, we had energy. We looked like we were hard to handle. Even in the early games of the Sharks and the Melbourne Storm, we were looking very hard to handle in moments there too, and should have came home with victories in a couple of moments there, obviously. So, and I do feel like, Metcalf is definitely a player that we are. Like, I feel like Metcalf kept an energy like that too, and maybe we're seeing that a little bit more, but, the players we got there at the moment still should be able to get a job done. The Roosters, obviously, this week was going to be a tough job no matter what, but the last couple of weeks that we had, they should have still got the job done, and I'm not taking that away from anyone. Killer Mozilla, I like how more risk we took in a challenge line. Yeah, I do agree with it. I did feel like, obviously, one of our tries that we let in was because of that too. But yeah, I feel like if the more we do that, the more the combinations we end up getting built, and that's when our attack sort of flourishes off the back of that. I just think that what opened up everything more was we were using Jackson Ford even better, and Mitch Barnett was like incredible on those lines. Like if we had an edge back rower that ran like Mitch Barnett all the time too, and we used him like Mitch Barnett, like that opens up so much space on that side. And we saw that today in moments, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of what I tried to say in my last video, what's going on with the Warriors at the moment. I really do see a good edge back rollers that are running, hitting holes, playing off the back of that really opens up the game. And that's how our attack sort of flourishes. So yeah, I agree a little bit there, bro. Up the wires 95, Bumps to learn not to handbrake at the line and do a full off-season strictly working on his defense. Honestly, bro, like defensively, I don't think Bompe's too bad at all. I think like sometimes the reason why he gets a lot of hate is because he's such a relaxed, like casual bloke, like, and you can see it in his game too as well. Like he allows things to happen sometimes and then try to fix them up a little bit later on. But like more so, not saying more times than not, like a lot of times when we have him there for a full season, I thought defensively he hasn't been too bad. He gets caught out every so often, but Joey Manu just, yeah, he baffed him today, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's too bad there defensively. Holds a decent tackle efficiency. Just, he's very relaxed, and I think that may be a little bit of what could change maybe in his game. He looks a bit more urgent. That's why I feel like the eye test when we have Rog at center, for me, honestly, this is for me, Roger's more explosive. He looks like he's trying to shut things down quicker. And that was the big thing. I was kind of like, there was a moments there with Joey Manu where I was like, just get up in him, like do something, like get up in his face. But yeah, that's my honest thing with Bumps. I think Bompe is a bit more of just the flowy type. Like, again, if you watch soccer, like, he's a bit more like Kai Havertz for Arsenal. A lot of people hate for that. Dion Smith, I appreciate having to listen to your takes on the Warrior. Thank you so much, bro. It makes me feel a lot better after a hard loss, even though coming a hard month. Thank you so much, Dion. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully I can give some sort of like, really, really good chat. And yeah, as you said, like maybe turn it, what a performance here, turn it around a little bit. Like overall, like I'm not saying I watch more footy than anyone or anything like that, but I've been watching footy for like all my life, and like watching every team in a competition and seeing how things happen, seeing how things work. Like I'm not saying that we're not in a bad spot right now, because we kind of are. Like we are in a not the best spot. There's still positives to our performance, and we still have its unit there to when it clicks. We got the system and the team to really push into the finals this year. My top four sort of thought is slowly withering away at the moment, but top eight is still for me a viable option, and we still have an ability to get to top eight this year, especially with the way that the competition is going at the moment. We just need to come together as a group, and the Panthers game, hopefully learn some things from the Panthers, hopefully maybe come away, who knows, so we can come away with a victory there. The Panthers, they look, I wouldn't say look beatable, but they've looked like there's moments there that we can really, hurt them sometimes there too. And then we got the Dolphins, who very like, in moments too, we've always had very good performances against the Dolphins as well. And then we get the bye, and that's with a refresher. We get Murata back, and there's a lot of boys that come back off injury there. And that's when hopefully our spark comes through. Now it's just like, how long Shawnee out for, and can we work without Sean Johnson? That's the big question for me. And I feel like it's everyone's question coming into next week. Because a lot of like our team relies on Sean Johnson, and there's no lie to that at all. Shawnee is definitely our playmaker. Clough stuff. Does LeVon have any of that whiskey? I ran out. I need. I'm not too sure what's going on, LeVon. Hopefully he's all right. Oh, he might not be able to come on tonight. Sorry, guys. He's having he's looking after his little bubba. So, obviously Mother's Day too, guys. I should have said that at the start of the stream. Hopefully everyone's mother's doing well out there. And, yeah, hopefully he's doing well too. Obviously looking after the baby and helping out mum on Mother's Day. So shout out to LeVon. Amazing person, man. He's just incredible. So. The clock start, Mark Roberts from the Warriors Facebook page is filthy that Bompe got a run today. A lot of people have been calling for Bompe to have a run today. Bompe is not too bad, guys. Like, sometimes we end up bashing on players, and we've seen them go to different clubs and just see how they actually can perform in that. And, I don't know, guys. I feel sometimes we just got to allow players to build and learn. Like Gossi, when he first came into the lineup, that Melbourne Storm game was just well out, right? He went back, learned his craft, and everyone still had the vibe around Edward Gossi, and he ended up having a decent season coming back last season. He had some really nice moments, and then obviously, now doing that, like it probably won't help everything he's saying. I tell you, bro, I agree with RTS. Didn't get real attacking opportunity on that center, and they needed a set play. Yeah, a little bit there, bro, 100%. But yeah, just have to grow now. We'll have to get better. Lotto peeps, I feel more settled with Roger at center, mainly for the experience and what he can create over Bompe. Yeah, from the looks of it, though, guys, like I wouldn't be surprised that maybe Rog gets a shot in that wing role now. When we come back off injury, now Monty's been dropped, obviously, and if Webby wants to stick with that, and then RTS will probably end up getting that shot when he comes back in. I know it's 4 weeks away and all that, but still. And then we'll probably, as like Jacko's been a big guy that's with Ali Leotar, and Ali's incredible. So maybe it's time for Ali to really show what he's got at center as well. So yeah. Just look at other teams. When they see an opportunity, they take it. We play like we're up 40-0. It's like variables, like in moments we do it and moments we don't. Like last week against the Titans, when we saw an opportunity to come back, not last week at the Titans, a couple of weeks ago with the Titans, when we saw an opportunity to come back, we steamed home. Like there's moments in the season you can say exactly the same thing. Even in this game, we could have easily been held to 0. The way it was looking, we were going to be held to 0. But to see us strike in those moments too, to try and come back and do something, like we've got to take positives out of that too. Up the wires for a long time, our centers were our downfall. So having RTS there created like a safer feeling. But attack-wise, he just doesn't get the early good enough ball. He needs early ball so he can dance. And I felt like Metcalf was definitely the best for that. Metcalf has shown now over what we've seen. Like we've got a really good track period now of Tamati and Martin. We had Chanel there for a game. Maybe we need to see a bit more Chanel as well. But Metcalf to start the season, guys. And I really do value that we keep our content on YouTube. So you guys go check out all the early games in the season and see, where the positives came from us early in the season. Metcalf was definitely a big part of that. And just the way he plays off the cuff and he overcalls plays. He's been very, very sorely missed. And then to add on everything else we've been dealing with this year, I feel like we've definitely missed him overall. Coco Jumbo with the Roosters, Sharks, Storm, Penrith playing like the way they are. I think top 8 will be what we're hoping for. 100%, yeah. Not to mention the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos as well. I think it's more so looking like that at the moment, but it is what it is. Like we'll continue to grow and see where we can really end up. Who knows? Yes, Adam and Gossi were found out and targeted from the get-go, but got to get better throughout the game. Took them a while to adjust back in the first grade. Yeah, and I felt like, they kind of found a home a little bit later on in the game too, guys. Like, maybe in time they'll get better and better. Jacka here. Bompe is no Joey Manu. No. And like, this is another thing. Yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit later. But, he played every game last year. He does a good job, but not a great job. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like sometimes I think, I feel like people think that we need to have players that, like, as soon as they get a first-rate jersey, they are as good as Joey Manu's and stuff like that. Like, you're not going to have a team full of that. We need teams that are just solid players that can really hold up a job and all that. We can't have a team full of superstars. The salary cap does not allow that, even though you see the Roosters and they're absolutely incredible the way they do their salary cap and that. But overall, I think Bompe does a job. He does a good job. No one was complaining about Bompe to start the season. People were even wanting Bompe in to start, over RTS as well. After one game, him, Gossi, like, come on, guys. We can't just keep flipping on things like this. Levon, hey, chat, feeling the same as you. Sorry, won't be on tonight. Thank you so much, my bro. Thank you so much. He's doing family duties, guys, though. Jackie here, I think JFH will change our pack given a toughness. Others will catch, especially. Yeah, exactly. And, I don't want to look into next year and be like, it's all up to next year now. Like, this year's a shambles. Like, we still got an opportunity this year, guys. And everyone that's saying we don't, like, I don't think they watch a lot of footy, in my opinion. Like, we have an opportunity to make the finals this year. We still do. We just need to fix up on a little bit of things. But looking into next year, Fisher Harris will be, his standards is what a big thing is, and that will help us a lot. So I'm excited for that in the future. A lot of peeps. Do you think SJ has struggled and been under pressure with Metcalf and Chanel Harris-Tavita gone? Tamade doesn't offer anything from me personally, and when Walker comes into our attack, looks better. Honestly, bro, if you looked at last year too, like when we had Dylan Walker there, our attack did not look a lot better. Our attack honestly looks a lot better with Shawnee. I feel like if you're going to take that as our last 4 games, Shawnee definitely not training with the squad hasn't helped him to look amazing this year, but to start the year, he looked incredible. Like he was pulling the right string. So I don't think SJ's under a lot of pressure. I think the only pressure he's under is if maybe these injuries are becoming a problem to whether he plays next year. And that could be a very serious thing now, and that's really unfortunate, but we've got to learn to grow apart from that. Levon, thank you so much for giving me your thoughts overall. But yeah, my thoughts, apart from our flaws, the Roosters team were running some killer lines. Yeah, 100%. Deserve credit for being a dominant team. Walker with those great kicks led to tries that were amazing. Yeah, 100%. And they're just completely on point at the moment. Yeah. Jacko here, listen to Webby's Presso. Shania Stavida very close to coming back in. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, judging on, I know a lot of people are, some people are now saying about strength and conditioning and all that, but a lot of that also comes to rehab and our training and getting the boys back in fit. That's a good sign. Jazzy came back early off injury, got through a game, looked well. Dylan Walker came back early off injury. He's looked a bit underdone a little bit, but, he's got through games and he's shown some positive ability there. Good to see the boys slowly coming back. So we'll have to see how we do look when we get a full team on park. And hopefully that comes mid to late this season and whatever happens there. Tristan, lot of peps, I agree. Same thing happened around this time last year. Then as soon as Mets came back off injury, we went on our big run in the middle of the season. Yeah, Metcalf solely as that six, he was our spark plug last year. He just sparked up the boys and that. But to start the season, we had Tomaide, and I think we went 4-1 with Tomaide. I'm pretty sure, off if I'm wrong. Maybe the Roosters game came a little bit earlier. We had some really good moments with Tomaide as well. So, and that helped us throughout the season as well. But yeah, Metcalf is definitely a big miss at the moment. Otherwise, can we see changes Leo Thompson has made just from spending a week with Fisher Harris in the camp? Yeah. You're kind of touching on, overall. Someone who's going hard at strength conditioning, spread the mentality through the whole group. Yeah, and I'm excited for, obviously, Fish coming next year, and I think he definitely would help a lot of that. But we got a team that we got now that can do something really, really nice, and I'm not losing hope in that. I feel like, I know a lot of you guys probably aren't losing hope yet, probably losing hope of winning a comp this year, and that's probably a big thing, and maybe we are not winning a comp this year, but we're looking at our season. I don't think it's completely down the drain yet. I don't think we're a wooden spoon threat this year. I still think that we have a unit there. We have moments where I feel like that when we get a team that is on the park and play consistent football, which, I know a lot of people are really struggling to see right now, but I do believe we'll find our way into the 8. And I do believe the draw that we have towards the end of the season will end up helping us with that. So we just need to get our boys back on the park and run some combinations and build some combinations. That's always been my argument to start this whole thing. Love Jazz, runs hard, tackles hard, 100%. Loving Jazzy. Overall, guys, appreciate every single one of you. There's 125 viewers right now in the chat. Thank you so much. If you're on YouTube too, guys, on Wise Up TV, make sure you go like and subscribe to the stream. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm actually just checking now to see how far off we are. Sorry right now, guys. We are 976. We are so far. We're so close to 1,000 subs. So please feel free to jump in and like and subscribe. Jacko here. Titans are up 20 over the Cows. This season is crazy. This season is on a different level, man. I feel like this is one of the closest seasons yet. I've been a proponent of, I'm waiting for these lower level teams to really fall off the pace. I know we've got the Rabbits and all that aren't looking amazing in that, but I can still have an argument to the Titans looking good. I still think the Tigers are looking slightly more improved than last year, even though they're falling out of form at the moment and all that. The Rabbitohs are just looking completely out of it, but the Cowboys, to start the season, look great, had a softer draw. They're falling off the pace. Dolphins have looked really, really good this season. The Broncos have been fairly good this season as well, but they've had some moments where they've completely fallen off the pace, in my opinion, as well. The Raiders started off the season looking like they were going to be a top 4 threat. I heard a lot of people say that, which I couldn't believe, but they're starting to fall away a little bit, but they've had moments as well too. Manly Seagulls are like this, up and down, up and down. There's still a massive opportunity for us. The Doggies are incredibly improved. They had a decent game against Penrith the other night. So I think they've been good. The Knights without Ponga have actually started to get a bit more of their backs up now, and they're really defending well. They're playing like simple football and it's actually working well. So they're actually changing a lot of that at the moment, which is very good. The Dragons have actually been a lot better than what people have thought this season. Like they've had some very, very good moments. They've also had some duds, but they've also had some really good moments. Parramatta have been very up and down, but you know what I mean? Like Parramatta have always been fairly up and down. So this season, guys, if we get a couple of wins under our belt, like we're back in our 8 discussion. That's what I mean. Like it's just, the season's not down the drain. And we still have a great team that we got here. And I'm just checking on the score now. Yeah, 20-0 the Titans. That's hectic. That's hectic. For a Cowboys team that, like, they've been fairly up and down at the moment too. And I'm not sure if, like, Peyton's really digging into them about things and they're falling off the pace that wise, but they've just completely lacked their defense. And that's what I kind of worry about us at the moment is, for me, I feel like a lot of people want us to get our attack going. But like where we're falling and where I want us to really grow on is defensively, because we build everything off our defense. And we've shown to start the season, our defense was our main part of our squad, and we're losing that a little bit. Like we were one of the best defensive teams in the competition. We fell away from that currently. And that's what I mean. Like we look incredible when we defend well. It's not because we attack well. Like if we came back from 20-0 down or whatever and came ahead and end up getting attacking footy and being a shootout and stuff, like maybe a lot of people would be looking better in that, but still like to concede 38 is not good. So that's my whole thing at the moment is defensively, we just need to hold in strong. Maybe Tomato going to the right side, maybe defensively, he holds that up a little bit better, but we'll have to wait and see. Who knows? Jacko here, get our best players on the park for the last half of the season. We can make the 8. 100%. I completely agree. A lot of peeps. This must be adding off what Tanya said. I'm so sorry, Tanya. I missed your comment here, but I totally agree. I love what Walker offers from the bench. He's a great spark plug. I suppose it opens up our bench spot for someone else. So I'm guessing this is more so, having Dylan Walker probably playing that 6 role next couple of weeks. That kind of like, hopefully Chanel is back and ready to go, because I kind of want to keep Dylan Walker as that spark plug for the middle and that, and have him and Jazzy come on. But if we have to, we have to. Yeah, overall. Neil Clarkson, I love the game, and all of you who like me want the game to be the best thing to watch. Cheers for all your support. Shout out to you, Neil. SVW Machiavelli, Dommy Young. He can have some moments, man. He can look incredible. Richard, aim for top 8 at least now, and then ante up for the full strength team. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of starting to become the look now, man. Like it's definitely our aim's top 8, get in there first, and then see where the season plays out from there. But it will be tough to win a premiership from top 8. You need to be around that top 4 in that, but we still have a unit and a team that can do it from a top 8 position, I still believe. So if we were to find our way in the 8, we play finals footy, and I don't think it's too bad of a season there. Like we've had a moment here, but I do believe the systems and that are coming into place, the development that we're finally putting into place that is actually doing some things, which is really, really good to see, that will come to fruition later on in the season. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll end up seeing more Zion, Laban, all these boys during the mid part here, and we can really get them in a roll and spark up that new generation too. Who knows? Jack here, only rabbits look real bad. Rest of win on their day. 100%, bro. That's where I'm kind of coming out this season. Everything seems to be like whoever turns up can really do something against anyone in this competition. I know the Roosters looked very scary what they did today, but I still feel like the Roosters can have a moment where they fall out. And it's really up to the Roosters whether they can show consistency and be that team to step up above the rest. They've always had this team on paper, but that's their biggest thing too. Christopher, tough to watch, but however, I believe when we stack our players when they return from their injuries, we will rise. I'm completely on there with you, my man. Jacka here, Sharkies have the best defense in the comp, and they are on top of the ladder. That's exactly it, bro. And we saw that to start the season against us in our game. I thought that was 2 defensive teams, coming together. I thought both our attack weren't clicking in that game as we saw to start the season, but defensively, I thought they kind of defended us, which they did, you know what I mean? And that's what won them to start the season. That's what should have been what our season was built off of. For me, attack always comes mid to late in the season anyway. We're going to come together and really show some things, but we have to defend. And that's the biggest thing. Like defense wins premierships. And that's exactly what you're alluding to there. Good back-to-back there, Jacko. Walker is okay in the halves, but not great, just filling in, really. Yeah, I would love to see maybe a more full-fledged half, but yeah. Albert, Warriors showed medal in the second half, stay the course. Yeah, I thought we did, but again, we do need to improve. So I think everyone agrees with that. I think there's been a lot of good chat here tonight, so it's really good to see that everyone's sort of on a little bit more of a level-headed and that. Even though the comment section sometimes on Instagram and that just like make me scratch my head a little bit. So, but it's good to see we have a really good community that we are building right now with some really good footy knowledge and good footy IQ, and I appreciate you guys. No, when Chanel Harris Tavita is back, Ash. No, not currently. On his casualty ward, I think it was round 13, in my opinion. So that's still, I think that's just before our bye, or unless we have our bye in round 13, I think we have our bye in round 13. Yeah. So it was that. But as Jacko said, I haven't got to see the press conference yet, but apparently Webby has alluded to maybe he's coming back a little bit earlier, which is a really good sign. So maybe we'll see that because we've seen that a couple of times already this year. Jazzy came back early. Dylan Walker came back early. Even I think Catewell was end up for that throat injury, was supposed to be out for a little bit longer too. So he came back early. So we've seen that too. Can we just worry about this year, guys? Fish ain't here yet. I believe I'm there with you, Tons. Like, I can't wait for Fish. I think it's going to be incredible, but we still got a year here now that we can do something. And I still believe that, guys. Like, I feel like anyone that doesn't believe we can do something at the moment, I don't know. I believe we still got something here. I really do. Albert Mackey, Storm missed Hughes, Coates, Pappenhausen. If they played, Storm would win. Yeah, you could say that, but also you could say that the Sharkies were missing one of the most key men as well. But obviously it doesn't equal Hughes and Pappenhausen and all that. But the Sharks were without a halfback in Nico Hines and had to fill it in with Jack Williams at one stage there. So, they were out on their feet as well. I thought it was a really good contest between two teams. Jacka here, a bit out there, but far. It could get the start if Eshe is out, but no Webster. Yeah, I think Webster actually brought him to the club. I haven't actually been completely... I think he's shown moments far of some good ability. I think he's got good tackle break ability. I feel like as a playmaker, he's not there yet. Maybe he could grow if he gets in the first grade. Who knows? That's still up in the air and all that. But the other thing too is I don't think he's in our top 30 squad, and I don't think we can dip into players unless we get exemption till round 13. If I'm completely off, maybe Ben Farr is in our top 30, but I don't think he is. I could be wrong there. Tony W. Sorry, I disagree. They took their foot off the gas, in my opinion. I don't know what you mean there, bro. If you mean the Storm, or do you mean the Warriors, or what is going on here? Oh, you mean with the Warriors today? Yeah, you could see it that way too, bro. It really depends on what way you kind of view the game or what where you want to see it. But yeah, you can see it that way. Not back for another 3 weeks. I'm guessing that's Shania Tavita. I don't think he is ready, but hey, needs must do. Yeah, and I do agree with you there, Jacko. If we were able to, if he's not top 30, I don't think we're able to, but if he was available, at the moment, I think we're at that point where it's just we have to do something there and keep our rotation of, Dylan Walker and all that off the bench. I thought it was round 10 when players outside top 30 were brought in. Luckily, I'm wrong, though. You might be right there too, bro. I always thought it was round 13. But, maybe I could look into that a little bit more. But, yeah, either way, we could possibly see him, bro. I could be completely wrong. Could be round 10. Could be, he could come in next week. We'll have to see how we go. Gus Pat, yeah, definitely, yeah. Jazzy and Rocco played well today. I thought so too. And that's one big positive I take out of it is a player that has come back off injury that we have missed. Jazzy came back and looked solid. So as long as all the boys can lift their ability a little bit there too, I feel like we've got something here and we can build towards it. I know the scoreboard said something different today and the performance early on in that game was dreadful. 100% agree, but I felt like as soon as Dylan Walker and Jazzy came into the game, and even Wade Egan too, it kind of sparked a little something there too. Not taking anything away from Lussick, he was good. I didn't think he was bad at all. He didn't really have any opportunity there. He had to do more defensive work if anything, and even then, he wasn't barely doing any defensive work there too. But Dylan Walker and Jazz, as soon as they came on, they sparked something, and I saw it. It was where the Roosters started to limit their game, but whether you want to take it as the Roosters lifting their foot off the pedal a little bit, but judging off the Roosters, the last couple of weeks of the Broncos and all that, the Roosters, and even later on in this game, I felt like they didn't. I felt like the Roosters are a team that like to just put points on teams. We saw that with the Dragons. They could have easily tried to put 60 on us. So to let the foot off the pedal, I don't really agree with that argument. I do feel like that the boys kind of like held a bit more solid, and really kind of upped the tempo a little bit, and the Roosters lost a little bit of momentum. So I'm sticking with that sort of thought, but it's up to you guys whether you thought that too. I don't know. Jacko here, Rocco made some crucial tackles for sure. Score would have definitely blowed out without him. Yeah, 100%. And even it was good to see that we ran that variation of Rocco with the short line too. I think there was a double lead that we ended up hitting Rocco with, and I thought he ran that really well, and it caused a little bit of havoc. It was just on the Roosters, they defended that really well as well. But those moments is what I felt like we lost last couple of weeks, and it was the energy running those variations on our right side, running our direct sets. We weren't running that, we just wanted to run sideways. It was good to see we got back to a bit more of a direct game plan and attack in this game. Just really unfortunate our defense was the lack of that, and that's the thing we need to key up on at the moment. A lot of peeps, yeah, definitely adding on to that. Our attack looked more threatening this game, straightened up the attack as opposed. We're going, yeah, and this is against a decent defensive side as well, guys. Coming into this one, I'm pretty sure they were, they only try to limit teams to about 18 points a game or something like that, which is, what we end up scoring. But I felt like, if you watched the Broncos game last week, they were holding out Reese's sort of just crazy out the backs, left, right, and center. They were holding that out. They held that together. That's the reason why they beat the Broncos defensively. They held up so strong and they struck when they need to. So that's something that we need to learn and we need to get a grip of, because that's where our side grows and that's where the game plan is. It's not attacking football. It's defensive football. And the attack comes from us just continuing to get more attack on someone's line. It's not from, from our back end or things like that. And unfortunately, yeah, we're just not that side. Tell you, bro, no, the Roosters are killer if their opportunity presents itself. Yeah, 100%. Up the wires. Rocco's defense and his line running tonight was awesome. Good to see the variation. That's exactly it. And I felt like we definitely missed that the last couple of weeks and we haven't been using that to the fullest extent. And maybe I felt like, I thought Jackson Ford had a decent game, in my opinion. It was good to see Jacko get run under some different looks too. But the big one that really showed me to where my thoughts were kind of on the right track is Mitch Barnett and the way Mitch Barnett ran in this game. I thought he always looked threatening and we always used him really well. And that's what opened up a lot of our left side sort of look there. And I feel like maybe that's something we have missed. And not to say Jacko doesn't do that on the left side before and all that, but we just need to use these boys better. I feel like a lot of great attacking teams in the competition have amazing edge back rollers that can play off the back of that. You look at Manly with Olakau'atu, they use Olakau'atu so well. And teams have to defend on him. That's what creates the space on the outside. And we saw that today. There was a couple of moments where Dallin had a lot of good looks on that outside too. So that's just my thoughts. You look at the Broncos, they have Jordan Ricky and Piacorta, and that opens up that look for Reese to get on the outside of a 3-on-2 look and throw those cutout balls. And the Titans against us, Dave Fafita, as soon as he came on the field, it was just that added, that dimension that an edge back role gives. The Sharkies have Britton Acorda and Teague Wilton, two of the best line runners in the competition. And that's the reason why they're so threatening in attack is you got to D up on their short play or they go out the back, and that's the way things threaten. So in attack, if you want my thoughts on attack, that's where I think that's where you need to grow. But at the moment, we need to focus on our defense. That's what my thing is. I'm banging that home. Defensively is where we need to grow. Defensively is where we need to grow. And that's it. Yeah. A lot of teams who defend well, if they throw something up at each set, in my opinion. Yep. When is Murata back? Murata's not back till after the bye, I'm pretty sure. If I might be a little bit wrong there. Let me go check on my casualty ward right now. But I'm pretty sure it was round 14, which is the round after the bye. Yeah. So foot injury, round 14. So that's what I mean. We need to get to this bye. Hopefully get a win in between there. The Panthers game, we have an opportunity to get there. It's probably more times than not, maybe the Penrith will get over top of us, but I'm excited to see if we can pull something out in that game. The Dolphins, for me, seems to be the game that's just like, we need, at home, we need to get a victory before we get into this bye and show something, and then the boys can build off that with the bye, get some troops back, and run it out. Chanel's obviously back round 14 by the looks of it too, with the casualty award here. But as Webby said in the press conference, Jacko has pointed out before, he alluded to Chanel being a little bit further along now. So maybe he's coming on, maybe next week, the week after, who knows. Everyone else, Kurt Cable's round 14 as well. Roger is to be confirmed 4 weeks from now, so probably after the bye, a couple of rounds after that. Jazzy's back now. Luke Metcalf's not back till late this season, so we can't even look at that. He's not back till maybe if we even make finals. And Sifakula, from everything I heard with Sifakula, I thought it was mid-season that he's back, but he's still indefinite, so he's another one that I would be interested to see get some runs in Cup, see where he goes, and then maybe he'll get a crack around that first grade squad too. So that's another guy we could be waiting on too. Jackie, let's be real. Chookies at full strength are a damn near test side. They put 40 past the Broncos. Yeah, without a full strength side there, they put 40 past the Broncos. 60 past the Dragons, 100% the last 2 weeks. It's not the end of the season. 100% Jacko. I appreciate you, bro. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Rocco, a tough SOB that way he stays his feet with the 2 or 3 defenders on him. He is incredible. Shout out to Tom Arle tonight. He brought some energy, late footwork. Yeah, his late footwork was really, really nice too. And maybe we could even look at running Tom Arle on the edge, but he's maybe more preferred as a middle forward. But, I thought he was really, really solid. I thought he was really, really good. Tahi, bro, right there with Jacko, full squad, reps, new edge this game. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Mumba, unfortunately, the writing is on the wall and most likely no premiership for us this year. Let's give some young boys... honestly, we just need to get any boys back on track and get our full strength squad back on track. As I keep saying, we haven't had a game yet with our full strength squad. We haven't seen it. I want to see as close to as full strength as possible on that football field and hopefully get through a game without any injuries. We're not the only team right now that's dealing with that, but for us throughout this whole season, we have dealt with it throughout this whole season. So I just want to see a team out there to build combinations, build cohesion. Like Shawnee's hasn't been training all these weeks until this week that apparently had an 80% training. He was training for 80% of the week now. So that was good to see, but now obviously he's out with injury. So that puts us back a little bit, but that's my thought, honestly. I don't think it's like, bring the young guys in, everything we got now, throw it out the water. No, we just need to get back to the process and just work together with the group that we got now. Jackie, I really think Ale can develop into a top prop with the size, late footwork. He's hard to handle throughout the game. I think the only thing Tom Ale needs to figure out is he can get found out defensively, more so with the ruck speed and stuff like that. He can be slow to cover. I felt like a lot of our momentum shifts in the contest, that middle of contest usually comes when AFB and all that comes off the field. And that's easier to say, like, he's not AFB obviously in that. But defensively is the only thing he needs to work on. I think in attack, he's actually really, really solid. He gets through his work. He's got a lot of energy. It's really good to see. He's definitely got a lot of talent. And only a couple more guys and I'll end up jumping off. Obviously, it's Mother's Day and that, and I want to have time with my missus as well. And obviously, the Warriors getting lost didn't help that. But I hope so. Keep up the good work, brother. I appreciate it takes. Yeah, thank you so much, my man. Thank you so much. We all got to stay positive, guys. Like, if you really want to, you can be negative and look at every weekend as a sour weekend and you got to turn on the footy. And then even then, like, I don't understand why you want to be a fan of a rugby league club at that point. Like, we got to try and find the positives and everything and just, like, keep getting excited. Turn up. The boys could pull something out and start their season next week. Who knows? And I believe in this group that we got. And possibly last question that we've got coming on here. Thank you so much to everyone that's coming into the chat too, guys. 110 people and all that. Just the question, Ash, might not be in your interest considering this looking into the future, but who would you be? Fuck, man, I'm totally messing this up. Who would you be in the plans of taking over SJ if we move on? In my opinion, our next man up for SJ would be moving Luke Metcalf to the 7, or even like at the moment, Tomaide and Luke Metcalf. Maybe Chanel's having a bit more of a look now of being in that 6. Like, if you're going to ask me this to start the season, I would have gone, yeah, 100%. I'd go to Maida and Luke Metcalf for next season. If Volkman was still here, obviously, guys know I love Volkman. I was going to go Volkman and Metcalf. But Metcalf for me is definitely our future half. Still yet to see like him as a full halfback. I saw moments in it in the trials where I was like, I enjoyed the look there. He's got a kicking game that he does, like, he's got something there. I think it's just more of like, he's a lot of a runner, and that kind of pushes me to more of like, he's a 6 instead of a 7. But then again, Shawnee was a bit more of a runner early on in his career too. So for me, yeah, at the moment, Metcalf and Tamaide, if you're going to throw up, I don't want to see anyone say Jet Cleary in the next coming years. No, he needs to develop. People overhype young kids these days, unfortunately. We need to let them time to develop and grow with the unit and come through the grade together. So no to him. Luke Hanson, I like. We got a young half too, Jesse Sorich, that I really, really like. They played SG Ball this year. I'm pretty sure he's playing Flegg currently right now. I really, really enjoy what he does. But at the moment, next cab off the rank would be Luke Metcalf and Tamaide Martin or Chanel Harris-Tavita would be our halves pairing coming into. If SJ was a dropout now throughout the season, yeah, that's the way I would look. That's my honest opinion anyway. Jazzy, Luke Metcalf wants first to 7, yeah, and I would give it to him, especially with the team we got now. Jacko here, re-sign Volkman, Metcalf at 6. Yeah, I agree with you there, Jacko. I love Volkman, but I think the way everything kind of writing on the wall is, I think Volkman wanted to leave the Warriors. I think Volkman got homesick. And yeah, obviously seeing that he wanted out of his contract to go to the Dragons showed me that. Maybe it was more so to get a crack in first grade, but yeah, I felt like that maybe he was a little bit more homesick than what we kind of agreed with. Maybe I didn't want to because he's I've got family ties to Volkman. He's my Mrs. Cousin's cousin, whether it's a second cousin or whatever. So maybe I could have, you're like, hey, bro, like, what's going on? Does he want to leave? Like, what's going on? But I didn't want to do that. I feel stink doing that sort of stuff, so I'm not doing those ones. But yeah, I would have agreed, bro. If he wanted to stay, it would be Volkman, Metcalf. I love those two. I love Volkman. I think he's an incredible footballer, and hopefully he gets a shot. The other one I do want to say to you guys, just to add on top of this, I hear a lot of people saying that, and I could be wrong on this too. Maybe there's a new story out there that said something different, but a lot of people saying that, like, we should have re-signed or kept Josh Curran. We couldn't have. Like, Josh Curran wanted to leave the Warriors. Like, he wanted to go back home. He got homesick. It's the reason why. There was a group of players with the Warriors that wanted to go back home. Like, Curran was incredible for us for the time period, and he would have been very, very vital for us at the moment. I feel like he still would have been around abouts, but from what I know of that whole situation, apparently he got homesick and he did wanted to go home. And we allowed him to do that. That's from what I know. Maybe there is news stories to say something different. Maybe it was also maybe him not cracking the first grade squad and he wanted 80 minutes. He did say something like that as well. But a lot of it did come down to he was one of the boys that were homesick and wanted to go home. So I just wanted to let that out there because I see that throughout the comment section, like it was our fault to let go of Josh Curran, from what I thought that, yeah, Josh said on Bloke in a Bar he wanted to go home. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I feel like I was seeing that a lot at the moment. That's not our club's fault. And same with Volkman. Unfortunately, I feel like Volkman wanted to leave. Okay, I thought he left because he wanted a first grade squad. Dragons were offering him a spot. No, I felt like there was a lot of rumors, and this is coming from a close group that we had with Warriorholic and all these other boys too. There was a group of boys that, coming into the next season, they were looking to go back home. And that's fine. Like, for me, that's fine. It is what it is. Like, I'm not too much of a guy of all that, hold them down. They must play. It is what it is. We'll grow. We'll be better for it. But from my knowledge, I think Volkman, Curran, and a couple other boys, obviously AFB, wanted to go home from the Warriors. So it is what it is. I wanted to get that out there. It is what it is. That's for me. Gussie, what up, Ash? Crushing the grind, my brother. Thank you so much, Gussie. You're always in every week, man. You're the man. Hopefully, if you aren't jumping on from my channel, bro, go up to Waz Up TV, go sub up and all that. Yeah, you're the man, bro. Appreciate ya. And Jacko here, it's probably my last one. I know I said that a little while ago, but I'll probably end up on these couple here. I just wanted to say that because I'd seen it throughout this whole, all the comments, and I love going through the comments because it's also where, maybe someone with a different view maybe can change my mind on a couple of things. And I've done that in my comment section before. But I've seen a lot of it like Josh Curran, we should have kept Curran. Like, why didn't we keep Curran? Like, the Warriors let one go again, all that sort of stuff. Is like, no, he wanted to go. Like, he wanted to go. And I feel like the same with Volkman and that. But then these Aussies need to toughen up. NRL is a boarding school. Oh, well, it is what it is. Honestly, bro, like, my view on that is like more of the fact of, like sometimes when you're in a job and you are working away from home, sometimes you want to get another job that's closer to home. And I understand they have their contracts and all that sort of stuff, but these days, like honestly, contracts mean fuck all. And I want people that want to play for the Warriors and will play no matter what for the Warriors. And I appreciate Curran for what he gave to us, especially being like, I know a lot of people like, this is not me saying it from like, Indigenous boy that should be different to a normal Australian or anything like that. But like for an Indigenous boy who grew up, he's got, ties to Australia because it is, Australian land, like Indigenous land. For him to go to New Zealand, play out, the contracts he did, and he always played with heart for us. And I've never seen a moment that Josh Curran never played with heart. He was incredible. He had a good tenure with us. He wanted to go home. For me, it was like, it was time. It is what it is, bro. You did amazing for us. Thank you. I appreciate ya. You got us through some of the toughest times, even though we didn't do well there. Like, you were one of our better players for there, and I appreciate ya. You can go. Same with ads. Same thing. Like, for me, it's just more of like, for me, sport is sport. Like, it's not about anything like that. Like, if they don't want to be there, then is what it is. Like, don't keep them at the club. Bang. Goodbye. Later. We got another player that's going to step up in the grade. And I think we're still looking for players like that, but we're still looking for a player like to fill in maybe Curran's role there a little bit, maybe, but I feel like we haven't had an opportunity with the squad to see anyone that step up in that opportunity. Maybe Catewell, maybe coming back with Murata comes back, maybe Catewell moves to the bench and becomes more of a Josh Curran look. Like, I don't know. So that's my thoughts overall. Up the wires, hit the like button if you haven't already. Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much. Up the wires, bro. You're the man. You're the man. Well, don't sign with the New Zealand if you're going to be homesick. It's no worse to sign it for the Cows. Yeah, for me, it just is what it is. Like, they had an opportunity to sign for us, and they showed a lot of good footy ability with us. It is what it is. It's a business at the end of the day. Like, for me, it just comes down to a business and a sport. It could go both ways. Like, there was a moment there where Isaiah Papali'i wanted to go back home as well, from the Tigers. And when he first signed with the Tigers, and that was early on, he signed with the Tigers, then wanted to backflip to the Eels, and then wanted to backflip to the Warriors. It happens no matter what. It happens with footy. It just is what it is, man. Sometimes, you go to a job, you don't like it, you end up just be like, nah, I don't want to be here anymore. And why would you want to keep a player that doesn't want to be with us? So that's my whole thing. And there's always more players, guys. And especially with the development system we're putting into place, I think that's what helps teams like the Panthers and that are letting go a lot of players at the moment, whether they're leaving or not, you know what I mean? But that's what makes the Panthers special. Their development's so good. Hopefully we become that in the future. And I'm seeing that at the moment. So I hope you guys are all seeing that too. All right, guys. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for all your love, all the positivity in the chat. I know after some sour performances, 0-4, it's not good, guys. It isn't good. It's a negative thing. But we can find positives out of this and grow. And at the moment, every loss is a lesson. We can't just look at it, every loss as you guys are in the bin, use a stink, get out of here. I hate that sort of view in football. For me, every loss is a lesson. Let's not change too much. There's things to tinker, 100%. But defensively, we need to stand up. That's the biggest thing. But with football, cohesion is a big thing. Get the boys together, get a squad together that's going to grow together, and just ride the boys. We're in this hole together. It is what it is. Let's get out of this hole together. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Hope you enjoyed the chat today and all that. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there too, guys, in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. Take it easy. Peace out.